everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. It's Murph. It's Andrew Wood, and it's time for round number one of the Area 51 Series live here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. And Wood, today we're at a familiar place. It is the Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yes, Murph, it is the traditional opening race of the old IndyCar series. We used to start several seasons here at Homestead. So it's great to see that the Area 51 League is back in 2026 and starting at a track that is familiar as a starting point for many of these drivers. So we have a lot of new things happening, both the series and the car. I'm sure we'll get to some of that as we go, but it's really great to see, as you would expect, a great turnout for the first race. A bunch of new faces. It's going to take a little bit to get to know some people and some liveries, so hopefully you can work with me, especially. And yeah, I'm excited for a good race here. Homestead always happens to be a good start to the season for everyone.
You know, Homestead is always an awesome start to the season, and as we look at some of those new names and new faces, one of the names that will be familiar to everybody here on the P1 Broadcasting Network, Kyle Clinworth is with us, and so Clindy has joined the ranks of Area 51. You've got returning drivers like Eric Peterson, Jeff Hysong, Craig Forsyth, Richie Hearn is here of IndyCar Las Vegas winning fame. Christopher is back, Charles Teed. So there are some familiar names. Matt Wagner's in the field. There are going to be some names that you have not seen on P1 before. Sam Cosner is one that jumps out. Sam Cosner, a driver for the Votive Racing League team. Gael Brooks, who we've swapped places, Gael and I. Gael Brooks is driving in this race tonight, Andrew. How about that?
You know, I was going to make a comment after the race started about that. My old broadcast partner for several seasons in this league. Yeah, it's kind of like an outer body experience, hearing your voice as the lead and not his, and him in the car and not you. So he's sporting those Area 51 colors, representing the series quite nicely, and you know, he's finally getting a chance to race with the guys that he used to commentate week after week. So it's going to be quite an experience, I'm sure, for him, and hope he does well in his debut here this season.
He does indeed. We're right on board with Charles Teed, and I do kind of want to just show everybody a little bit about what this track is like. We're on board with Teed. Now, this is a qualifying run. He is headed down into turn number one, 205, 203, 200 miles an hour. As he goes through there, you're going to see him climb back up to about 215 down the backstretch. He's going to touch it and then back down again. The lap speeds here, Andrew, we're going to see 210, 211 miles an hour in qualifying, but they are going to fall drastically in this race, aren't they?
Yeah, it's going to be quite a sight to see, really. And, you know, it's classified as an intermediate speedway, but you're pretty much flat-footed in clean air on fresh tires. So that's not going to last for the whole stint, obviously, as the tires wear, but it almost kind of has a super speedway vibe to it, especially with the progressive banking that you see at this track.
You know, it most certainly does. There are definitely two different lines that you can take through here. There's the line right around the bottom, and then there's a line right around the top. You're not going to see too many people, unless they get put monkey in the middle, Andrew. You don't really want to be in the middle because of all three lines, it seems to be the slickest. There's Eric Peterson as he comes through. He's going to complete his second lap. Peter 693. He does not get a spot on the board, however. Fastest lap right now is owned by Bill Burrell. There's Bill Burrell. His first lap turned in at 25.689, and Burrell, man, Bill Burrell, that's a name that I am unfamiliar with, Andrew Wood, but that is a fast name right now. He is almost a tenth quicker than All right. Well, I do appreciate everybody's patience. We are seeming to experience just a little bit of technical difficulty. On the pole for the race, Christopher, 208.5908 miles an hour. Shane Coker is going to beat his outside. Matty Wagner, Mason Mitchum, row 2. Bill Burrell, Daniel the Cat Durazo are row 3. Jim Herrick, Charles Teed make up row 4. Frank Irwin Jr. and Wayne Campbell will make up the 5th row. Starting in 11th. Ryan Kelly, then Richie Hearn, Sam Cosner, Larry Yingling, James Molyneux, Kyle Clinworth, Craig Forsyth, Brian Greenlee, Jeff Heisong, and Nicholas Stockner round out your top 20. In 21st, Gary Lovern, David Brock, Joseph Morales, Eric Peterson, Gael Brooks, Kurt Rose, Victor Carr, Bill Colley, and Brandon Biggs round out your 29 car field. All right. Do appreciate everybody's patience. Christopher has led him away from the pit lane. Andrew Wood, you got a copy? Andrew Wood, can you hear us?
I'm here, yes.
There we go. My appreciation for everybody's patience. We seem to be coming back, and I have no idea what is happening. Of course, it's one of those, Andrew, where you do the test stream before you get in, and man alive, everything looks good, it sounds good, you're all set and ready to go. And then as soon as the race starts, man, it seems like we're playing up. But Barney's got the green flag in hand, in the air. Christopher hits the loud pedal, and we are underway with the Area 51 on P1.
Off to a good start. Everyone gets away nice and cleanly, 2 by 2, sorting out through most of the field. Everyone takes their high line, low line situations going through turn 1 and 2. We're clean through most of lap 1 so far, and looks like Christopher has managed to hold on to the lead.
He most certainly has. Down the backstretch as they fly. Stouffer is your leader. He's got Shane Coker in tow. Behind him, and we've got Caution. Caution is on the speedway. It appears to be Andrew, 4 cars. Nicholas Stockner, and there's Stockner. He looks like me. He looks like me there, Andrew. He's upside down on the front stretch. Here we go. We're going to have a look.
Yeah, a bit of a checkup coming out of turn 3 and 4 there.
It most certainly was. You've got Jeff Heisong, Brian Greenlee, and Bill Colley III all involved, and that's a tough way to start this race for all of those cars. That's a tough way to start the race for all of those cars. They're all out of the race before really they've completed 3 miles, Andrew.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's beginning of season jitters. It's a bunch of people trying to measure each other out and get a grip of how everyone's going to be driving around them this season. We're going to see a lot of that as the races continue on here. So unfortunate that some people's seasons have already gotten off to a bad start here, but that's why we have a 14 race season here. So we'll hopefully have better luck for those guys coming up in future races.
It most certainly will. We are at lap 3 of 125. Chris Stouffer is your leader, and we've got to give Stouffer his due. And we do want to thank our friend Jim Herrick at 40 Racewear. Of course, you see the 40 logos all over that car series sponsor. If you head over to their website, Andrew, you're going to find some pretty awesome sim racing gear. I myself have a pair of shoes, pair of gloves. So hit up Jim Herrick, our good friend over at 40 Racewear. Reasonably priced up, and I think he's working on some new stuff too, Andrew.
Always ready for new designs, new equipment, new new gear, I guess is the best way to put it, really. 40 Raceway's definitely got some good stuff. They had some great holiday stuff going as well, deals leading into the new year, and hopefully some of these drivers got some nice 40 Racewear gifts under their Christmas tree.
Hopefully they did. I know I did. A new pair of gloves came from me from Santa Claus. So do well though. We'll give Jim the responsibility. We are under caution, lap 4 of 125. It's already flown. Now there is a fast repair in this series, isn't there, Andrew?
Yes, there is one fast repair that all these drivers get. So those drivers that were involved in that first lap incident there do get a chance to go back on track. It looks like all but Nicholas Stockner managed to keep their lead lap situation going, but that's their one mulligan. So another incident, and that would spell end of race for those guys. So hopefully they are a little more vigilant. They got off to a rough start there, but going forward, I'm sure there'll be some more, I guess caution is not really the word I should be using, but a little more careful driving around some other drivers that we don't necessarily see week in, week out. So I think it's going to be a very interesting go from here from those guys that now have to drive it just a little bit more carefully.
And that's something that you raise, and that's a great point, Andrew. It is a fast repair league, and that is a gift. When you're in that kind of a situation, you get that gift, right? You have the ability to you have that gift. You have that ability to get your car fixed. The problem with this situation is it's 5 laps into 125 lapper. Now you've used it, and so for the next 200 something miles, you have to be super, super careful as Christopher wastes no time. He's on the loud button. Christopher heads back toward the start-finish line. We are under green one more time. Andrew.
And the restart scenario is the best time to make up spots, especially on a track like Homestead, where it really does take a little bit to wind the cars up. And sometimes if you don't take advantage right away, you do get stuck behind those cars and play the guessing game of which car is going low, which car is going high, and that's your best time to make up spots. And as you see right here where Ryan Kelly's making a move down the front straightaway, it looks like, I believe that's Durazo that was in front of him. No, actually it's Jim Herrick. He got a little bit checked up in the exit of 4, and Kelly was ready to make that move, boxing in. That might have been Durazo, or that's Frank Irwin Jr., actually, who got a little boxed in there. So Frank Irwin Jr. loses a couple spots. Ryan Kelly takes the gold there and picks up 2 spots.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly's doing something I like to do quite a bit of, Andrew. He's running the bottom line. You see Daniel the Cat was up on the top. They've got Jim Herrick trapped up on the top. Wayne Campbell is underneath Jim. You want to roll the bottom line here at Homestead Miami Speedway, and the reason you want to do that is that it saves the tires. You got to check up a little bit more. We've got caution on the track one more time. James Molyneux hard into the turn 2 wall. You see Victor Carr sneak past him. Meatballs out there for Gael Brooks and Eric Peterson. Caution on the speedway one more time, and we're going to get back and figure out what has befallen those 3.
Unfortunately, Murph, it looks like I guess it was Molyneux who went off the track there. There is a slight difficulty getting off turn 2 on the more worn tires, where the transition goes back to the flat part of the track again, and the car does get a little bit light there, and I think that's what's befallen Molyneux there. He gets a little bit loose on the exit of turn 2 there, smacks the wall, but unfortunately doesn't do a great job holding the brakes, getting back onto the track again, and poor Kyle Brooks managed to just be right in the crossfire of where Molyneux's returning car to the racing surface was.
Yeah, no way for Peterson and Brooks to avoid. And poor Gael Brooks, there he is. Not only has he got the meatball, he's got himself a black flag too. And this is how fast this happens. We're going to jump on board with Gael Brooks as he heads off of turn number 2. Watch the car spin ahead of him. You can just kind of see it. Remember, this is halftime, fans. There he goes down, and I don't think it's a matter of brakes or steering, Andrew. I don't think Gael Brooks ever had a chance as fast as that car was traveling. But he has a black flag at any rate. So not only is he going to get his fast repair, he's going to get what I would assume would be at tail end of the longest line. Meanwhile, Molyneux and Peterson are under tow. They're going to get their fast repair. Gael Brooks goes a lap down, but Molyneux and Peterson, they're already down too. That's going to be a hill to climb.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. I kind of misspoke a little bit before about the holding of the brake scenario. I do watch again the incident now and see that Molyneux didn't have either of his front tires attached to the car. So it's a little bit tricky to stop a car that you can't brake or steer. So that right there is just a very unfortunate scenario for Gael Brooks and Eric Peterson that, just like you said, had absolutely no chance of avoiding any sort of impact there. So very, very unfortunate. And as we talk now, it's the first race of the season, and the curse continues. And these drivers are having a little bit of a hard time keeping themselves clean, and hopefully they have some better luck once the fast repair is deployed.
Hopefully so. Eric Peterson's still under tow, as is Molyneux. Molyneux now leaving pit road. Peterson still waiting to leave. They're going to be Peterson now 3 laps down. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, of course, on the P1 Broadcasting Network. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring that bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can be notified of all future iRacing action. Do want to thank everybody in attendance. We've got the normal crew, Andrew Wood. You're going to get really familiar with names like Paula Scory, Craig Segerman. In the chat, that is Kyle Clinsworth's mom and I believe uncle, so longtime backers for him. Do want to welcome Indy next winner, Indy Kurgenbauer, to the chat. Wishing luck to all of his votive teammates, and hello from Ryren as well. He says the old guys rule from Roswell Motorsports. I couldn't agree more, Andrew. I'm old and slow. Christopher is not. He's got it back. He's got his right foot back down. We are under green one more time.
I'm watching Ryan Kelly again to see if he has any restart magic here. Unfortunately, as he goes through turn 1 and 2, Durazo's right underneath him and is looking to take that spot. It's not fully taken yet, but Kelly was great in turn 3 and 4 last restart. Let's see if he has any tricks up his sleeve for this case. It looks like Durazo gets the advantage now and will take P6 away from Ryan Kelly.
He will. Now, Daniel the Cat has the advantage. When he goes down to the bottom and everybody else goes up top, I really like that line. You see Shane Coker ahead of Durazo, Coker up top, and that's just giving Durazo exactly what he wants. He's able to roll the bottom, Andrew, and keep going forward. He's going to pull even with the Votive Racing League impresario as they come off of turn number 4. It's going to take him several laps to make that move, Andrew, but once he does, he is going to be gone.
I'm also watching Mason Mitchum, who's really taking the fight to Matt Wagner for second right now. Stouffer is gone. He is half a straightaway ahead of these two drivers battling for second, and that's mostly for the reason that these two cars are battling. Mitchum had the position briefly, but I think Wagner was able to kind of pinch him off a little bit in 1 and 2 last time by. So Wagner will keep second place, and now it's a matter of going to chase down the leader.
It most certainly is. We are going to grab I was going to try to find the right rear suspension. I managed to have not clicked the right button, but it didn't matter because there goes Mason Mitchum to the bottom, and you can see him off the roll hoop. Matt Wagner not able to fight him off. Matty Wags is going to drop back to third. Mitchum is going to go to second, and he will set sail after Chris Stouffer. So nice, neat move from Mason Mitchum there.
Mason Mitchum is I believe that's his second season racing Area 51. I don't know if he made a lot of the races last year, but he was definitely a name that was kind of sitting around mid-pack or so, maybe just outside the top 10 most of these races. Had a little bit of bad luck, and look at Meixsell go now. It's race 1, and he's showing his name up here with some iconic Area 51 drivers. So good on Meixsell, and hope he continues this trend going, and this could be a really good season for him if he's already showing some muscle early on.
That's one of the things that I did want to kind of cover with you, and we're going to focus on Meixsell Mitchum for a little bit, Andrew, is that there are a lot of new names and some new faces in this series, people that a lot of longtime Area 51 fans may not notice. Do want to shout out, by the way, the great Edson Santos, the defending series champion, has joined us in the chat. And so, Edson, it's a pleasure to see you. Warm hugs, my friend. And hopefully we see you back out on the track soon. But, Andrew, you're going to see some names like Meixsell Mitchum that you're not familiar with up front. That's a guy that's been running in the top splits pretty regularly. He also managed to qualify his own setup for the Hoosier 500 this year, and so that's a guy that can wheel one of these cars. But he may not be a name that you're as familiar with in terms of these league races.
Well, yeah, of course, Meixsell probably got his start racing these cars more regularly in Area 51 and possibly some other leagues in previous seasons, but. Yeah, it's definitely good to see some growth, especially these guys that join these leagues and don't necessarily have all the pace that they feel like they should have right off the bat. So I think it's very interesting to see the progression of some of these drivers, especially as they get into further seasons of Area 51. So Ryan Kelly is another one who kind of struck the scene quite well last season, which was his rookie season. Had some good finishes, but almost won a race, if I do believe, right towards the end of the season there. So it's really good to see him continuing that momentum up towards the front of this field here and taking the fight to some of these iconic drivers, as we previously mentioned.
He most certainly is. There's Ryan Kelly. He currently runs 5th. There's a name that you're going to see a lot on Sundays. That's Shane Coker. He runs the Votive Racing League. And there is a big one, Andrew Wood, coming up in his league Sunday night. It is the Votive Indy Derby 4. You going to run that race?
I'm going to try to. I have qualified for it, so we'll see how that goes.
Did you have to go through? Now, that's the first race that I have been around in a long time in the sim that had to have pre-qualifying. You had to qualify to even get the right to qualify. Did you have to go through that, or did you make it in? Did you make it into the main draw?
No, I was a pre-qualifier, and I took the very last spot in the race. So they take the top 20 pre-qualifying candidates, and yours truly was number 20. So already off to a great start in that competition.
There you go. I, of course, don't have to worry about those jitters. I have a provisional into that race permanently, Mr. Wood. So I don't have to worry about the heart attack, my friend. How about that?
Yeah, I'm just getting back to the race quickly here, Murph. I saw Bill Burrell has now made contact with the turn 4 wall, just a brush both times, 2 consecutive laps, and he has a complete swarming of cars all around him. This is battling for around 10th position, and Bill goes high again, keeps it off the wall this time, but he is losing spot after spot, and now we're going to go 3 wide possibly into turn 1.
Yeah, there he is. You're looking at Kyle Clinworth, Larry Yingling, that's Sam Cosner around Bill Burrell. There is definitely something amiss with that Bill Burrell machine. He had been running up in the top 5 until, as you say, a couple of brief brushes with the wall. And for Burrell, what do you do here? You just try to keep it out there as long as you can, Andrew, and then come in and hit the fast repair under your next stop?
You know, I'm taking a look at Burrell's car. I don't see any wrinkle on the floor or anything, so I think it might just have been a brush. But as I was mentioning in the pre-race, this is definitely a momentum-based track. So once you have to lift and really let go of all that speed, if you have a lot of guys that are coming up behind you and have the room to make the move, you can just get shoved out of the way, which is exactly what happened to Burrell. And especially 2 laps in a row, unable to take the preferred line around turn 3 and 4 there. It really, really hurt his momentum. So that's why he dropped so many spots. But this battle here for, I guess this is still battle for the top 10 for the most part, is still getting very, very feisty right now. 2 by 2. I would say 3 rows back, even though they're kind of split up a little bit from a row standpoint. But Burrell now has fallen to the top 15 and about to lose another spot.
Yeah, so these are cars that we have not yet talked about a lot. But Craig Forsyth leads this train. Craig Forsyth started this race 17th. He is up to 8th. Forsyth the last time through 26.992. 26.915 for the leader, Chris Stouffer, and so he is just as fast as his race-leading teammate Kyle Clinworth. Started 16th. He is now 9th, so he's been coming forward. There's Jim Herrick in 10th, and then Larry Yingling in 12th. He's up 3 spots. Frank Irwin Jr., he currently runs 12th. That is kind of the battle here. It is between 9th and then Sam Cosner in the Votive Racing League machine and teammate Gary Lovern back to about 14th. Lovern is up 7 spots, but that's kind of the best battle on the track as you see Yingling run to the inside of Jim Herrick. He's going to try to pick up a spot as well.
I'm also watching Matt Wagner is falling back even more. Mitchum is now completely pulled away from him and is starting to track Stouffer down, but Durazo has now come up to the back of Matt Wagner. Tried about a lap ago or so to make a move. They were side by side. Couldn't get it done, but Durazo's aiming to go for it once again here. Durazo takes the low line. Wagner's up high. Wagner is definitely struggling on some pretty worn tires, it seems like now, and I imagine we got to start talking about pit stops here very shortly.
You know, we would. One of the things that I do want to point out as you see Durazo battle to the inside of Matty Wags, Kyle Clinworth, who's running in 9th, is the only car among the top 10 that has made a pit stop. He stopped under that second yellow light, Andrew, and grabbed himself 4 fresh Firestones. He is 9th, and he is bidding to go past Craig Forsyth into 8th. And so Clindy is coming to the front, and that is a huge advantage for him to have those new tires, isn't it?
I'll push back a little bit on that. It was the second caution, which was only 6 laps into the race, and we had only run perhaps 2 or 3 green flag laps. But at the same time, any sort of fresher rubber that you have compared to everyone else in the field, first of all, it might give you a little bit of just a tire advantage overall, but if you do pit a little bit later, that does give you free rein to maybe baby those tires a little bit more because you have the knowledge that you can go a little bit farther and the other cars will fall out faster than you. So if you're really smart about it, that is a good strategy to deploy, which Clemworth has now done and now finds himself sitting solidly in the top 10 after taking that pit stop, as you mentioned.
He has. He's up to 8th. We're looking at Frank Irwin Jr., Jim Herrick. They go side by side. This is the battle for 11th and 12th. Irwin wants the spot over Jim Herrick, who has fallen out of the top 10. Jim Herrick giving that 40 Racewear car a heck of a good ride, but he is under fire from Frank Irwin Jr. Little bit further back of this. I want to highlight some of the other cars in the race, of course. There's Devin Brock. He has chased down Victor Carr. This is 19th and 20th. And so that's Devin Brock in the DHL machine, and then right in front of him, Victor Carr in the number 5. Victor Carr is a name who has been very, very quick in some of these circles as my connection decides it doesn't like me anymore right now. But back we go to the front. Chris Stouffer continues to lead it. Mason Mitchum, though, has run him down. Andrew Mitchum now 0.4 of a second, just a little bit less than half a second behind Stouffer, and he is coming in that Votive Racing League machine.
Slightly further back, Durazo has gotten by Matt Wagner. Wagner is on the struggle bus right now, Murph. He is dropping back a little bit and falling into the clutches of this really, really good battle between Shane Coker and Ryan Kelly. You see Kelly's looking a little bit racy now, but just a couple laps ago, Coker was getting ready to put the moves on Kelly.
Caution, yellow flag.
And we have a caution.
Nathan Stockner hard into the inside wall on the front stretch, and that is going to do it for the 124 machine of Nathan Stockner. And let's see what's happened with him. But Nathan Stockner's day is over. He has used the fast repair, and this will use him up. It's also going to give the lucky dog, I believe, to Richie Hearn. But here we go. We're looking at Stockner. He's coming off a turn number 4. gets off the corner, and it appears to me that's a symptom of either angry right rear or too much weight jacker or both, Andrew.
I'll have to agree with you there, Murph. That definitely is a characteristic of turn 4. We were talking about turn 2 with the Moano crash before, but turn 4 can be just as dangerous and deadly as we saw with Nicholas Stockner losing the right rear there. But we're going to be starting to do our first real full field pit stop of the 2026 season. So let's see if everyone's got their stuff ready to go and pit crews are ready to go to work here.
Here we go. Christopher's going to lead him down. Pretty much everybody is going to come into pit here if you're on the lead lap, Andrew. I don't think we're going to see a single car I don't think we're going to see a single car stay out.
We were talking about Clemworth before. He managed to make hay when the sun was shining there to get himself ready to go for picking up some spots on the fresher tires. Now he's going to be on the same strategy as everyone else. We have a couple cars that stayed out that are probably just either I guess they can't pit right now. They have to wait for the next lap to come in, or they could be trying to get their lap back in hopes of a quick caution.
Yeah, so Christopher's going to lead the train off of pit road. Nobody on that lead lap stayed out. You are going to see Richie Hearn get the lucky dog. I believe if we get back behind the pace car here, the only car that stayed out, Andrew, is the 71 machine. That is Gael Brooks. So Gael is going to stay out and get one of his laps back. He'd been out 24 laps, Andrew, on his current run. Remember, he had that first lap accident, and I think Gael is just he's just trying to really get himself back into a position where he can make some positions.
Yeah, the only strategy that Gael can use right now is to hope for a very quick caution because that'll give him a free pit stop while also getting his lap back. That's a risky strategy, but it could pay off, especially in such a big field as this, with which we saw some early start and restart yellow flag. So I like that strategy. If he gets himself up another spot, then he is a lucky dog contender and then can find himself back on the lead lap again. So I like that strategy from Gael, and I believe he's now gotten weighted around. So we'll be getting ready to go back green here.
We most certainly will. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in. You are watching the Area 51 IndyCar Oval Series live on the P1 Broadcasting Network. You've got Murph and you've got Andrew Wood with you. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you know when we go live. Christopher, he doesn't waste any time, does he, Wood? He was on the loud pedal at the entrance to turn number 3, and he is already 0.3 ahead of Mason Mitchum.
And this is the best time to make up your spots if you possibly can get them. You do have a great advantage as the leader, as you have the cleanest air out of anyone, and you could pretty much choose any lane you want, and you have to keep the car behind you guessing. But we saw Mitchum coming for Wagner the third lap by on the last restart, which that battle ensued for quite a couple laps here. But Stouffer is doing a good job doing a little bit of unpredictability.
He is indeed. Devin Brock, black flag on the restart. Brock is going to have to bring it in for a drive-through, and so tough luck for Devin Brock. There's Mason Mitchum in second. He's got Daniel the Cat Durazo, then Matt Wagner, then Ryan Kelly as they run 2, 3, 4, and 5. Christopher has already built up a 0.6 of a second lead, and here goes Clindy. He's looking to the inside on Shane Coker.
That was a pretty good setup that Clendy had on the last lap going into 3. He kind of stuffed it in there a little bit to get Coker a little bit nervous on his entry, and he didn't quite get the job completed at the exit of 4, but he managed to do the same sort of thing through 1 and 2, and Coker had to do a little bit of lane searching, and that allowed Clendy to get that move going. And looks like we have another boxed-in situation right behind, as Forsythe has moved past Wayne Campbell, and I think Forsythe might be trying to line up Coker for a move here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, Shane Coker is definitely going to have that move on Shane Coker. There he goes to the bottom of the speedway. You see Forsythe right here. At the beginning of the run, we're 5 laps in, Andrew, you'll notice he's in 4th gear. Put that in the back of your mind. We're going to get back on board Craig Forsythe once he's got about 25 laps on these tires. I bet you he's downshifting into 4th gear, rolling the bottom of the Homestead Miami Speedway as Shane Coker fights back right to the inside of Craig Forsythe. Good little battle here for 7th and 8th.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he was able to kind of hold on to that position, because sometimes throwing it into 3 in the hopes of getting the move done on the inside never really seems to pan out quite well, and it doesn't here either. But he really did give it quite a move there. I think Forsythe was trying to give just a little bit more room just for safety, knowing that he'd have the run down the front straightaway. So this battle will continue, but as we talked about in the pre-race there, the lines of these corners, it really does favor being on the outside to try and get that speed.
It does when the tires are new. It can be rough out there as the tires wear, and that's something we're definitely going to want to watch and see. There was a barn burner of a race that this man, Kyle Clinworth, won, and he's got a fight right now with Daniel DeRazzo. Clindy 4th, DeRazzo is 3rd. Clinworth hunting the podium positions now. But there was a barn burner of a race between Clindy and Anna Klimek that has actually gone viral now on iRacing's social media, Andrew, where Clindy essentially used the top on the last lap on worn tires to slingshot, and we've got another yellow out here. It is Jim Herrick. Has found the cement down the middle of the backstretch. Caution is on the speedway for the 4th time in this now 49-lap-old race. And let's see what's happened to Jim here. He's kind of all alone, Andrew.
I think this is going to be the same thing as the Molyneux wreck from earlier. Unfortunately, just got a little loose. And this time, luckily, it's only a single-car incident.
Yeah, there's Jim. He comes off of turn number 2, and right as you described it, where it flattens out, you get too much rear bar, too much weight jacker in that baby, and around she goes. Caution on the speedway, and Jim Herrick's car is toast. He is back coming down the pit lane. He's steering a 3-wheeler with no nose. Now watch this, fans. This is what we mean by fast repair. Here comes Jim Herrick. He's going to park that baby in his pit stall, and boom, bink, he's back. There's your fast repair, right?
I'm trying to find out if Kyle Brooks managed to get his lap back. I do see he's 2 laps down right now, so I wonder if he didn't do a quick pit stop before that caution, because
I can answer that question for you, Andrew, if you'd like.
Please do.
Kyle Brooks is 35 laps on his current run, so he made up his lap. He did get 1 back. He is now 2 down. Beneficiary of that caution is actually going to be Jim Herrick's teammate, Richie Hearn. Richie had been 2 laps down earlier. He is now back on the leader lap. Devin Brock goes to 1 lap down. Eric Peterson now 2 laps down, as is James Molyneux, as we watch Gael exit the pit lane. Chris Stouffer is leading a now split strategy, speaking of pit stops, Andrew.
That's actually a very interesting call there. Yeah, I'm trying to reset my reset the field here in my own mind, because that was a very interesting move there. So obviously everyone's going to need to take 1 more pit stop from here, at least. But it's definitely a very interesting strategy to try and split it up like that. But track position means everything around here, as we've watched already, that it is very difficult to execute a pass around here and make it stick. So I do like the split strategy call here.
It is. Now, they've been out for 12 laps now. Stouffer, Wagner, Teed, and Briggs, your front 4, have not stopped. Everybody from Mitchum on back to Jim Herrick is
Yep.
Jim Herrick. They're on the leader lap. They've got fresh rubber. Richie Hearn still scored on the lead lap. He has a black flag. Victor Carr, Jeff Heisong, Jeff Heisong and Victor Carr. I can't talk right now. My apologies. I'll go find my English real quick for you, Andrew. Carr and Brock and Heisong did stop as well. They're still on the lead lap. Devin Brock 1 lap down. Molina, Brooks, and Peterson 2 laps down. They have all stopped. And so it'll be interesting to me to see for certain sure. The magic number is 75. From lap 75, if you stop any time in there, Andrew Wood, you can make it home. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Stouffer back on the gas. He leads them away.
Green, green, green.
Devin Brock caught sleeping. Mason Mitchum is going for it right now.
Mason Mitchum,
nice outside move.
I think Mason Mitchum went forward a little bit too early. Black flag restart violation on the number 3 machine. Durazo follows him through, as does Clinworth, but Mason Mitchum a little bit too eager. Stewards will see if the Area 51 stewards clear that. Meanwhile, Clindy goes round the outside and rounds up Daniel the Cat Durazo to move into the 6th spot right behind the now black flag Mitchum.
Yeah, I believe that black flag has been cleared. I wonder what happened there, because that looked like a illegal iRacing move to me. So I'm not really quite sure what happened there. But no penalty now for Mitchum, so he can continue on his way. But yeah, that was really, really clever to get Devin Brock sleeping on the inside there. It's very, very difficult to do, but as I'll continue to mention, it could be a storyline we could post on the bottom left of our TV screens, as we see in real life racing storylines, being the first race jitters. Everyone's a little bit unsure of how they're going to perform, and they're really just trying to stay out of trouble as best they can and get a good finish. So very, very interesting situation there. And yes, I saw what you saw there, Murph.
Mason Mitchum has that car high, wide, and handsome, brother. I don't think you could have fit a sheet of paper between Mitchum and the outside wall. Clindy, wow, what a move. We've got cars spinning, and Durazo, Molino, hard in the wall. Durazo collected. We're going to get more cars involved. That was, I believe, Frank Irwin Jr. came through, but Molina catches the apron, Andrew, and spins right in front of the top 5.
Yeah, so you were mentioning Clemworth. I saw I think that Molino just kind of lost where he was on the track. I think he saw Clendy maybe trying to make it 3 wide in the middle, and I think that was just a matter of looking at the wrong place, looking at the wrong spot of where he wanted to be. And next thing you know, that's where the apron begins, the transition off the bottom. And yeah, that's very unfortunate, because he's spinning directly into the pack of the rest of the field, spinning his rear into the pack that's coming full speed towards him. I can't speak English either, Mark. Don't worry about it.
Maybe we should call the race in French. What do you say, Andrew? Or German. Now, you've been to Germany recently, right?
Well, first of all, parlez-vous français? That's a question. And yes, I was in Germany about 6 months ago, so I didn't learn much German there, but I don't think we could really do that.
That's all right. You drove the wheels off of her, and that's the main thing. Daniel the Cat Durazo is headed to the pit lane. He has the meatball. Durazo critically maintains his position on the leader lap, and so there he is. Also on the pit lane is Bill Colley. There's Colley. The car that we were looking at was not Jeff Heisong. It wasn't Gael Brooks. Gael has come back to get new tires. Of course, he was on a strategy where he was getting laps back under those yellows.
Did we mention who was collected in that incident, by the way? It was Durazo, and there was another car that came through afterwards that also...
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I think... There it is. Frank Irwin Jr.
It was Irwin. Okay. Yeah, I think Larry Yingling kind of... I don't want to say brake checked, but he slowed down much more than I think Irwin was expecting, and that probably took his eyes off of what was happening ahead, so he could avoid the slowing Yingling right away. And unfortunately, yeah, Frank Irwin Jr. just carried too much speed in there and caught a little bit. I think Devin Brock might have gotten a tiny piece of it, but his car is probably okay.
Yeah, there's the car for Irwin. He's headed back to the pit lane. Larry Yingling, that machine looks more or less fine. Who was the other car that you mentioned, Andrew?
Yingling didn't have any contact. It was Brock, Devin Brock, and the orange car there got just a little tip of Moano's car coming off the wall, but I think he avoided damage.
Well, Devin Brock is on the pit lane, and so he pops up on the jack and comes back down, did not take his fast repair, and was in his box 7.9 seconds. So that would confirm for Devin Brock that he does not have any damage. We'll reset the field for you. Chris Stouffer, Matt Wagner, Charles Teed, Brandon Briggs lead from the first 4 spots. They are on 19-lap old tires. Everybody behind them stopped 8 laps ago, starting with Clinworth and Mitchum, Kelly, Forsyth, Campbell, and Shane Coker, your top 10. Daniel the Cat Durazo, Jeff Heisong, Frank Irwin Jr., Devin Brock, and Bill Colley are the cars on the lead lap as Stouffer sets sail for the green flag one more time. Those cars have fresh tires. We are under green, and we are also nearing the halfway point in this race, Andrew.
Only the halfway point, Murph. I feel like I've been watching this race with you for an hour now, but yeah, it's been a little bit of a disjointed race, and hopefully from here we've gotten all the jitters out of the way and we can go for a nice. I want to see a green flag pit stop to end this race and put these guys on their heels a little bit and need to react in such a way to pick up the spots via the pit lane. So let's see what happens here. We're excited to see how this split strategy plays out. Everyone's got one more pit stop to do, and I'm hoping for a green flag one.
Do want to welcome Shotgun Willie into the chat. Thank you so much, Willie, for joining us. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all of these. We've had a triple header tonight. Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, no, just Ryan Kelly almost ran right into the back of, I believe that's Brandon Briggs' left rear corner there. I don't know how that wasn't an incident, but they touched, and it seems that everyone gets away with it. Mason Mitchum was on the move as well. He was in that mix as well.
Now, it's important to remember for those of you who watch Area 51, but you are not familiar with some of the drivers and the colorful characters that make up the series. Clindy dives to the bottom of Charles Teed. That's going to put Clinworth into third, Teed fourth, and Mitchum is going to now start hunting Teed. It's worth noting that even though the car of Kyle Clinworth is painted in the Votive Racing League colors, he is not a part of the Votive Racing League team. So kind of keep that in mind. Clindy is team mateless here. He's doing the Lone Ranger thing, Andrew. He doesn't have any of his road racing buddies, but do keep that in mind if you are a Area 51 regular. Clindy is painted similar to the Votive Racing League cars, but he is not a part of that team and is not in Discord with them. I bet you didn't know that, Andrew.
I did not. And the politics of teams that are happening in this community these days are completely out of my brain now. So I will lean to you to talk about teammates and whatnot. I know the 4D guys because I'm close with much of that team. But yeah, for a lot of the new drivers and new team formations that have risen, it'll take me a little bit to get used to that.
Absolutely. We've seen a lot of turnover in the community, of course, with teams. We've had some long-standing stalwarts decide to make their homes elsewhere. We've seen some guys that have been around for a very long time, not so active. We've seen some pretty active drivers move behind microphones. And so you're going to see some different colors out there as Ryan Kelly moves around Mason Mitchum, put Ryan Kelly to fourth. Matt Wagner, by the way, and we didn't talk about it. We showed it. We didn't really talk about it. Matty Wagner got excited and drove right past Chris Stouffer to start this stint right at the restart. And Clinworth now is hunting Stouffer for the second spot, and it's not going to be long, Andrew.
this is the first time that Stouffer is going to find himself sitting in dirty air, so it's going to be a whole new experience for Stouffer. And you're right, it is a bit of an adjustment, because if you're used to driving whatever line you want, and now you got to play which line does the guy ahead of me not take, it's an adjustment, especially if your momentum is changed in such a way. And yes, as you see, Clenworth is underneath right now, but as we saw with a couple other drivers, it's hard to hold that position going down the front straightaway, and Stouffer has a slight advantage right now, but Clenworth might take that bottom line and steal the spot at a 2.
It is really difficult. It's when you get up toward the front, especially where Clindy is, and we're going to jump up on the roll bar and just kind of show you. Matty Wagner has his choice of lines. He is running the bottom of the speedway, and that is a huge advantage to Chris Stouffer, because Clindy has the dirty air on the entry and in the middle of the corner, so he has to check up a lot more on entry. Chris Stouffer is running that high line. He's got the rubber band stretched real tight up there, Andrew. And he doesn't have any dirty air until he gets to corner exit, but by then, he's already pointed off toward the exit, and Clindy just cannot get that move done. I would argue it is much more difficult to make the pass for second here than it is for the lead.
I agree with everything you say. I have nothing to add to that. It's definitely... It's very cool to see these guys running side by side right now around much of this track. It's very difficult to do that while keeping the momentum, but the tire life is going to start to play advantage, or to a disadvantage to Stouffer here, as he now loses the spot to Clenworth. But he's only 6 laps away from that magic number that you were previously mentioning. So, I think he might have just brushed the wall there a smidge, but no harm there. But yeah, he's going to be looking to that final pit stop coming up here very shortly.
Yeah, and so what Chris Stouffer wants to do, he's got about 1.2 seconds until he gets to Ryan Kelly. The good news for Stouffer is this, and there he is. He's going to be able to kind of get into a pocket now, because he's 1.3, 1.4 seconds behind Matty Wagner, and there you see Wags up in the leads. Clenworth is second, and Clindy is coming. But if you look at Wags is running the bottom. Clindy is on the top. That's going to let Stouffer run the bottom, and so he's more or less now back in clean air, at least for most of the corner, and he's got more than a second back to Ryan Kelly, and Ryan Kelly is not catching him in any sort of a measurable way, Andrew.
Definitely agree with that as well. I'm trying to figure out which. Okay, so the first car that has pitted is Clenworth now, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That is correct. So the storyline on the pit stops is right there on the pylon. Wags, Stouffer, Teed, and Briggs are the long runners. Clindy, Kelly, Mitchum, Forsyth, Coker, Campbell, Yingling have all stopped as of 24 laps ago. Remember, Daniel the Cat Durazo was involved in an accident. He's 7 laps newer tires than Clenworth and those guys. And Durazo is coming. He's made up 10 spots.
I'm watching this battle here for P6. Larry Yingling has just been in the middle of every hornet's nest possible today. He's side by side right now with Wayne Campbell, takes that spot. Coker and Forsyth have been side by side for several laps as well, and this is a 4-car battle. How do you pick a line here, Murph? If you're sitting where Wayne Campbell is, you just got a wall of cars up ahead of you, and you got to just hope that your car does not wash up on the exit and hit the wall.
Yeah, so that's a great question. It's important for the people at home, and we're going to jump on board with Wayne Campbell. You pick what line you're going to take into the corner. You make that decision right about now. You're already deciding where you're going to go. So I'm looking at where Yingling and Coker have gone in the previous corner, the previous couple of laps. I also have my preferred line, so I know I want to be on the top or the bottom, however my car drives best. And then I'm going to try to pick whatever line suits my car the best, but also doesn't have a ton of dirty air. And you can see Wayne Campbell hunting it, right? He's tried the top, he's tried the bottom, now he's in the middle. I think he's just trying to hunt clean air, and that's really how you have to kind of pick it. But he's having to decide that 200 or 300 yards before he gets to the corner.
And then, of course, if you know that both lanes are taken, then your next best move is to try and just slow down a little bit and save the tires, because if you turn in on a line you mistakenly turn in on, you're going to just eat up that right front tire.
You most certainly will. Now, there's a guy not concerned about tires, Shane Coker. If he's not rubbing the Firestone off the side, off the lettering, off the side of those babies through 1 and 2, he's awfully close. Coker having a doggone good run here. He's up to 7th, and they are reeling in Charles Teed about a 10th and a half a lap. Meanwhile, we've had a change for the lead. Excuse me. Kyle Clinworth has made short work of, and driven off in the distance from Matty Wagner. So score Kyle Clinworth as your leader. Wags is now 2nd. Stouffer has fallen nearly a 2.5 seconds behind them. There's Stouffer in 3rd. And then you've got Ryan Kelly and Mason Mitchum. Those cars are 4 seconds clear of this battle. Charles Teed is about to succumb to Coker, Yingling, Campbell, et al. As they stream toward lap 80. And I'm kind of surprised that with 41 laps on their current tires, we haven't seen Wagner and Stouffer, Teed start to hit the pit lane here, Andrew.
Well, it looks like Wagner actually is going to hit the pit lane right now. So
yes,
he's our first taker. Stouffer.
That's Stouffer, yeah, Stouffer. Well, he's in the window. You've got 44 laps to go here. It would make sense, try to get that undercut going. And hey, if there's a caution with 20 laps to go, everybody's going to pit anyway. Charles Teed is going to come to the pit lane, and that's going to leave this Coker, Yingling, Campbell battle as the battle for 5th. And they've got Gary Lovern coming. Gary Lovern, and we got to give a shout out to Gary Lovern. Here he is. Lovern started this race 21st. He is now 7th. How about that for making up positions, Andrew?
That's definitely a way to do it. And, there was a lot of cars around him that probably had their issues, so he picked up a few spots just by some cars spinning or losing their position on the track. But at the same time, you still have to get those positions somehow by battling your way through the field. And yeah, just to talk about the pit stop strategy, it is a little surprising for sure that cars did not pit once the window's open. But at this track, you do lose the lap, so you will get trapped a lap down should there be a caution. And we've already seen a little bit of uncertainty among some of the battles that we saw earlier in the race, possibly bringing out that caution. So it is a little bit of a risk taking that early pit stop, but I believe Stouffer and that clan there were needing the new rubber, so they had to pit regardless.
They did.
I would imagine these cars that pit later are going to stay out as long as they possibly can, so as not to get trapped a lap down.
They did. Now we just saw Chris Stouffer. He drove through that battle with Forsyth, Durazo, and Sam Cosner like they were tied to a post. Andrew, he went by them in a hurry, and he's now caught Gary Lovern. Lovern is running about 10 seconds behind the leader. But to give you an idea of how much faster Stouffer is, his last lap, 26.114. Clindy in the lead, 26.822. So he is anywhere between a half a second to nearly a full second quicker than your leader. And that's going to work out to his advantage. The longer Clindy and those guys run, and we'll get back to this battle because it's another hornet's nest. You mentioned it. Wayne Campbell right in the middle of it. Larry Yingling has gone to 4th, Coker 5th. Wayne Campbell now 6th. But the longer that this stays green, if it cycles all the way through, Chris Stouffer is going to have a huge lead, Andrew. And then it's going to be the tortoise and the hare the other way, isn't it?
Yes, that car that we were watching there in that battle is Matt Wagner coming through on the fresh tires. And like you're mentioning, it's very, very easy to see the tire difference there. Wagner just drove around all them, but it's actually Wagner that's going to come out ahead in this and not Stouffer. He had to battle all those cars, and he is the clear leader right now in that situation. And Stouffer is now taking his turn getting by these cars on the older tires, going to split the difference. That's a risky move.
Yes, it is. You're looking at Wagner. He is about a 1.5 seconds up on Chris Stouffer, and there's Stouffer. He has made his moves and gone through Shane Coker, and we will rejoin that battle because this is not only is it compelling because the short stoppers are going through. It's the most compelling battle on the track, Andrew. Right now, this is the closest fight for position that we have available.
And of course, all Clenworth wants right now is a caution to trap these guys a lap down that just pitted. And the longer he stays out, the less chance, as the race goes on, the less chance that is going to happen. We have Mason Mitchum doing his pit stop now. Ooh, someone had contact with the attenuator. Or Ryan Kelly is in the wall in the pit lane, missing.
You sure that's Ryan Kelly? I've got a Kyle Clenworth with no nose.
I have Kelly with no front wing, so I think there might have been an incident there.
You know what? We're going to go back and figure that out. That is big news. There's Kelly spinning. So here's Clindy as they get onto the pit lane, and he does what so many of us have done. He loses it where the road course kind of meets up, spins it on the pit lane. Ryan Kelly is a victim of net code. He'll spin it through the pit lane. I don't think those two lost anything but time there, Andrew. I think they're going to be okay, but they just lost time. Jim Herrick with the black flag. That's going to let Yingling be your leader. He's going to come to the pit lane, and that's going to have Gary Lover now as your leader. But I'm going to get on the roll bar, and I'm going to ride with
Wayne Campbell is fun in the pit lane as well. He's missing part of his front wing. I think he did the same thing Clenworth did. So we see, and we haven't talked about the hybrid much yet, Murphy, but from what I've been hearing, the braking in this car is so different now with the weight change on the car, and it's catching some of these guys out, I believe.
It most certainly is. The other part is this Homestead Miami track, and right there is where I was talking about, is notorious anyway, because and we've got more cars sliding. That's Eric Peterson and Sam Cosner in the background. We were watching Lover get on pit lane. That's going to leave Daniel the Cat Durazo as your leader. But this track is kind of notorious anyway for its pit road entry. It is very difficult where that entrance, or I guess it's the exit, right, from the road course back onto the oval. It is very difficult right there. It's very slick, and where the road course is, it kind of pops up and the pavement's a little bit different. It can be very difficult over there to get yourself on a pit lane. Watch Daniel Durazo, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in the track rocket machine.
The cars are set up to be racing on the banking, so it's very difficult to get your car to not spin, and then adding on the extra weight difference that we were talking about before. It's definitely a tricky situation for much of these drivers. And I got my wish, Murph. I got my green flag pit stops that I was hoping for, and along with it came a lot of action.
You most certainly did. Now, I got to ask, Andrew, you asked me earlier what I would be doing in that hornet's nest, and I kind of tried to walk people through my thought process. You've been in enough of these races, and you're also a pretty smart guy. Would you prefer the long run and have the fresh tires later, the short pit where you come get the tires early, you're trying to split the difference? What are your thoughts here? Frank Irwin Jr. has been out 38 laps, and he can probably go another 10 to 15 if he wants.
Yeah, it's a good question, actually, because it really depends on the situation and how your race is panning out. So sometimes it is more beneficial to stay out because your tires are going to be the freshest out of everyone at the end, but you run the risk of losing more spots by staying out, and thus your lap times are increasing every lap. So I like to go somewhere in the middle personally, especially if I'm battling someone I know is faster than me on fresher tires. If I see that the delta is starting to close, that's really the time you need to pounce right there. Pitting early has the risk of getting a lap down, which is what Stouffer and Wagner were going through. But once everyone starts to do their pit stop, they could stay out and you still have to pit, and you're just going to go right to the back of the lead lap car. So it is very situational. But for me personally, I like the somewhere in the middle approach.
Speaking of that, Frank Irwin Jr. was the last car to head to the pit lane, and he went 39 laps. That's going to hand the lead back over to Matty Wagner. Wags enjoys a 2.6 second lead over Kyle Clenworth. There is Clindy. Clindy has a 9 lap 8-lap tire advantage over Matty Wags. Chris Stouffer runs in third, and there you see him in that 4D racewear machine. There's Stouffer as he flies down the backstretch. It's another nearly 2.7 seconds back to Mason Mitchum. There's Mace. He runs in fourth, and Ryan Kelly is going to round out your top 5. And what would you call that livery, Andrew Wood? Is that like a zebra-looking deal to you? Like a carbon?
Who are we looking at?
Ryan Kelly, is that like a carbon fiber zebra?
That's actually a really very detailed and colorful explanation. That's definitely what I would call that. And we got a good look at it when the piece of the front wing was missing. And unfortunately, that carbon fiber zebra did not have of all the parts of the car when we were taking a look at him down pit lane. I like that livery a lot, actually.
I do too. We're looking at a battle now. This is 7th and 8th. Gary Lovern is 7th. Craig Forsyth is 8th. And Lovern has teammate Shane Coker behind him in 9th. And another Votive Racing League car and Sam Cosner in 10th. That's a pretty doggone good showing for that crew. Put 3 cars in the top 10. Well, really 4. Mason Mitchum. So 4 cars in the top 10 for the Votive Racing League team. You've got Matty Wags in the lead. Clindy is coming. The last time, Andrew, it was a half a second in favor of the 37. So even with that spin, the contact, the new nose cone, he had to get himself righted, get his fast repair. Well, he did not get a fast repair. So how wild is that? He still got it.
It's actually shocking to hear that. Yeah, you would imagine that any spin in the pit lane and trying to get yourself get back going straight again. Of course, Clendy just spun and he has to kind of reset a little bit. It was really Kelly that took the brunt of that situation there. But yeah, he had to get a repair and everything like that. So, wow, that's remarkable that he was somehow able to scrape together a decent pit stop there to get himself in the running to potentially win this race.
Well, there he goes. He's going to have the lead here in another corner. He swings to the bottom of Matty Wagner, and with 104 laps on the board, Kyle Clinworth is going to go to the lead over Matty Wags. Score Clindy your leader, Wagner second, Stouffer third. Not only that, Clindy has the tire advantage with 8 fewer laps. He's got a freshly repaired car, and he is now going to set sail on the field. It's going to take, in my estimation, Andrew, it's going to take a caution. Unless Clindy does something, unless he does something wild and makes a mistake, he's in the catbird seat from here.
Well, we already saw the one of the 9 lives get taken away there. So I think from here, Clendy is definitely just on a mission to get himself in the best possible spot to win this race. And yeah, if that's the worst thing that happens to him, then that is remarkable and really almost like a driver of the day situation.
Maybe some of the magenta mist coming out. We flip back to Mason Mitchum, by the way. There are some lapped cars in here, and the reason we're looking at Mason Mitchum is if you get on the roll bar, that black and chrome machine of Chris Stouffer, that's the bottom step of the podium. And Mason Mitchum, he's driven a great race today. Mason Mitchum is hunting that podium, and he can see it in front of him, Andrew.
Well, let's revisit that discussion we just had regarding the early pit stop versus the late pit stop, right? So the early pit stop was not the right call in this case, and I don't know if that's just a matter of the cars that pit early needing to navigate through some of those, a couple of those larger groups that we saw on the track, thus losing time and wearing out the tires a little more. But it seems like staying out longer was beneficial not only to maintain the traction, but to also have the best tires here as we get to about, 15 laps to go or so?
We are at 108, looking at 109 of 125. So we'll go ahead. I'll tell you what, there's this ingenious thing that I have on my scoring pylon. You ready, Andrew? I can tell it. I want to see laps to go. We've got 17 circuits left. And Mason Mitchum, just like that, went past Chris Stouffer. And I believe you're right. Even with a teammate there to kind of run interference, Chris Stouffer just a sitting duck for the new tires on the car of Mason Mitchum. And Stouffer's not out of the woods yet. He's got Ryan Kelly coming, and if he doesn't, and if the clock doesn't run out, he might fall into the clutches of Larry Yingling, Gary Lover, and Shane Coker in that group, because they are all much quicker than Chris Stouffer. It's almost a second a lap that he's losing to the cars around him.
I'm also trying to measure how far Mitchum is going to be away from Matt Wagner towards the end of this race, because, as we mentioned, Wagner did pit early as well, and Clenworth was able to squeak by him quite fast. And right now, last lap, it looks like Mitchum was 0.3 faster than Wagner. So with 15 to go, it's going to be close. Wagner's tires are only going to get worse, and Mitchum is probably going to widen that delta between Wagner's lap time and Mitchum's lap time. So that's one to watch as well.
26.695 that time for or 26.728 for Mason Mitchum that time through. Matt Wagner 26.910. So a couple of tenths gone from Matty Wags, and we were on board with that lap. It's also worth reporting Chris Stouffer has now been passed by Ryan Kelly, and so Stouffer just needs to, quite frankly, just get in a rhythm, get himself some clean air, and save those tires, baby him home. Because if he's not careful, Larry Yingling is going to catch him. And there's the car of Yingling. You can see him. The distance is about a straightaway, but Yingling is coming. That's about 0.3 a lap, Andrew.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Wagner, he's got Kyle Brooks behind him as well. First of all, learning the line, learning the ropes in his return back to the series out of the booth here. But I think he's on fresher tires than Wagner as well. So I don't think Brooks is really going to do much to halt Wagner's progress going forward. He is in the way, essentially, if he has new tires. But if he does happen to get by him, that's going to put more of a burden on Wagner to try and navigate that situation. So I imagine the two of them are probably chatting and trying to figure out the best way to not hurt Wagner's race. But that is a factor as well.
It most certainly is. I did want to jump on board. We're gonna give it the old. Well, I tried to get the Bobby Rahal cam, and I kind of missed it. But I want to jump on board Kyle Brooks and kind of just see maybe if we can get some insight into his thought process here, because I thought that I saw him actively not trying to pass Matty Wagner.
Well, Charles Teed is there now as well. Maybe Teed will pull over for Wagner, as he probably lost a little bit of time that lap. He had 27.2 for Wagner on the last lap, and Mitchum is not so far behind. But Mitchum, when he catches this pack, will be a nice wall of dirty air that he'll have to navigate as well.
Yeah, you can see Mitchum now. He's creeping in the picture. The good news for Wags is he's got Kyle Brooks, Charles Teed, and there's a third car back there that are in the way.
Briggs.
And I'm sorry?
Brandon Briggs is that other car. But Ryan Kelly is joining this battle as well. He is right up on Mason Mitchum's rear wing. Oh, Mitchum gets a little tight there on 4. Ryan Kelly's going to be battling for P3 here.
Now, the tires on those two cars are identical, 28 laps for Mitchum and Kelly. Mitchum is going to dive underneath Teed. He can't quite get it done. He loses a ton of momentum. Is Kelly going to make it 3 wide here? He thought better of it, Andrew. Discretion, the better part of valor. Kelly going to lift off.
Wagner coming down the pit road.
Yes, he is. And that is a shock. Wags has been out 37 laps, and I don't know. Is it possible that he may have meatballed the tires? I don't see that he hit anything. The car looks
either that
okay.
Or a fuel error. There could have been a miscalculation on the fuel input, which does happen from time to time. You think you're getting a full tank of fuel, but for some reason the sim doesn't read it as a full tank of fuel, and he might have gotten shortchanged here. And we've seen time after time, and you've raced with Wagner several seasons now in this series, that sometimes luck just does not go on Matt Wagner's side. So race 1 of this season, and he's already having trouble. I
love Matt Wagner to death. He is one of my good friends in the sim. Andrew, I do not want to go play. I'm not taking that guy to Vegas.
Stouffer is also in pit lane, so I think this might be an issue that you can't go 50 laps.
It's possible. That's 39 laps. Well, I just thought of this and thinking of this, Andrew, is this a race where they've shrunk the fuel tanks in these cars a little bit?
It is possible. I remember reading in the league group here that they were changing the parameters, I believe, on the fuel tanks compared to previous seasons. So I don't know if that was in the up direction or the down direction. Probably the down direction. But in previous seasons, we have used an abbreviated fuel tank in this series. But I believe there was a change. So if you're basing 50 laps off of a full 18.5 gallons, then you're probably not going to hit that 50 lap mark if they've shortened the fuel tank here.
It's possible. There's Ryan Kelly. He's gone to second. Mason Mitchum is third. And all alone at the front of this field, 6 seconds in the Miami sun, it's Kyle Clinworth. And he has made his points, Andrew, here today. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The way he just caught up to Matt Wagner and passed him like that was incredible, especially after his pit drama. And I mean, we were going to have to talk to him about that in the post-race interviews here. But I want to shout out Gary Lovern as well. You were mentioning him a couple times before. 21st on the grid up to 5th place. Top 5 finish to start the season. You can't complain about that at all. That's a win in itself, really. It
most certainly is. And I've raced in a lot of series in a lot of places with Gary Lovern. The improvement that he has shown in the last couple 3 years has been outstanding, and good for Gary Lovern. That's one of the finer characters in the community, and it's great to see him running well. But I'll tell you what, one of the finest drivers in the community and one of its hottest hands right now is Kyle Clinworth. He's already down the backstretch. He is going to come off a turn number 3 and 4. Kyle Clinworth is going to see Barney, and Barney is going to have the checkered flag and throw it at the road racing entry. Kyle Clinworth wins the Homestead Miami opener here in the Area 51 IndyCar Oval Series.
Yeah, great run by Clinworth there, and he's already gotten the jitters out of the way and still managed to pull off a win here.
He most certainly did. I like to show everybody crossing the line. I think if you've gone this far, you at least deserve to have the TV camera focus on your car as it crosses the start-finish line. So good on all of our competitors who managed to finish the race today. I'll tell you what a heck of a race that was. I like a race like that, Andrew. I like one where you gotta think it through, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, you kept us on our feet. We had a lot of the strategy calls wrong, but yeah, it wasn't just the drivers thinking; it was us thinking as well. And you know, it's our first race together, so we're gonna kind of like trip over each other a little bit in terms of trying to figure out who's on top and whatnot. But I'm excited to see where we go from here. We have 3 names on the podium here trying to make their name in this series, and it shakes the grid up quite nicely.
And those are 3 new names, and that's going to be a story of Kyle Clinworth is your winner. Ryan Kelly second. Mason Mitchum brings it home with the bottom step on the podium. Larry Yingling and Gary Lovern, they're going to round out the top 5. 6 through 10, Shane Coker, Daniel the Cat Durazo, Craig Forsyth, Craig Herwin Jr., and Devin Barak. In the 11th spot, it's going to be Sam Cosner, Kurt Rose. Joseph Morales is 13th. A shout out to Joseph Morales. That's a guy that's had a lot of bad luck, and I am so very happy to see him run in the top half of this field, Andrew. 14th, Wayne Campbell. Jeff Heisong is 15th. Matty Wags, the late pit stop, drops him to 16th. Bill Burrell, Victor Carr, Christopher, same boat as Matty Wagner, and Bill Colley. And how about Bill Colley with a top 20 run? That's a great run for him. Bill Colley is going to finish in 20th and 21st. Charles Teed, Brandon Briggs, 22nd. Eric Peterson, 23rd. All these cars 2 laps down now. Richie Hearn, 24th. A bad day at the office for him. Kyle Brooks, his return to the cockpit. He's going to be 25th. Jim Herrick, 26th. James Molyneux, Brian Greenlee, and Nicholas Stockner round out the race. They are out of the race. All right, let's see if we've got any drivers in the. We've got any drivers in here. Andrew, what do we got? We're looking for Mason Mitchum. There we go.
We got the trio hanging out all together, so easy to find.
There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and get them moved into the human examination room, and just so I know where they're at, I can drag them a lot easier. And we're gonna grab Mason Mitchum. Mason, you've got Murph and you've got Andrew Wood in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
I'll tell you what, my man. What a run to open the season. You were fast. You were fast off the drop. You led this race a little bit. Talk to us a little bit about. About your run to the third spot there tonight, my man.
Yeah, so on this one, I knew it was going to be a tire burner. There was some interesting things that happened at the beginning of the race and about halfway through with a few cautions that kind of made it to where, didn't have to worry about burning your tires off so bad because you could keep pitting. But then on the later in the runs, I was, trying to stay out there as long as I could so I could get a nice overcut for that last run. And the only thing that I'm really disappointed in, unfortunately, is I could not hold off Ryan Kelly. I was like I would get out to like a 2.5 second lead. I was like, this time I got him cooked. Nope. He would reel me in with like 10 laps to go in the fuel run both times, and I was like, well, I guess he's just better in the long run. So that's something that slightly is disappointing, but he did a great job, so I'm happy for him, and of course happy for Lindy. They just ran off with they're just so good at saving tires, so I'll get better over time when it comes to that.
Yeah, Mason, this is a return season for you. You were I was mentioning during the broadcast there that you were slightly farther down the pack and looking at a bunch of rear wings last season, and you've taken quite the step forward and just in the first race here even. So talk a little bit about your growth and what you've been working on and what advice you've been given. Just talk about everything in terms of how you've managed to stamp yourself right on the podium in the first race of the season and looking like you belong there, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, iRacing is one of those things that if you put time into it, you're going to get it returned, especially if you practice correctly. And definitely getting a lot of tips from like Clindy on how to go longer on my tires. That was probably my Achilles heel for a long time. And I'm getting better at it. Of course, I got a long ways to go until I'm at like an elite level at that, which I think is probably I would tell anyone listening to this, like, forget learning how to qualify, forget learning a lot of things. All that really matters is if you can get that long run going. Like, that long run is going to make you better than anything else because you can just fly past people late in runs. That's the most important part. But I think just putting time into iRacing has, over the last year, I think I've gotten pretty decent, and I'm hoping that in the coming year, I will keep getting on podiums and eventually win. That's what we're here for, right? To win and eventually maybe down the road fight for titles and things like that. We'll see. But right now, I'm happy to get a podium on first race of Area 51 this season, and hopefully it continues, and we'll see what happens.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Mace, for jumping in, stopping by. It's good to see you in the broadcast booth. It's a little bit of a different booth, but it's a broadcast booth all the same. You know the drill, my man. Friends, family, sponsors, the floor is yours.
Well, every time I get out here, I'm going to tell people about Votive, the Votive Racing League. If this is something that, maybe you're interested in, give it a check. Go check out on P1. We're going to have the biggest race of the year, probably the biggest race in the history of Votive itself. And it's going to be this Sunday. So get ready for a huge race, Votive Indy Derby. Going to have a lot of big names out here. I believe both of you guys are going to be out there. So there's going to be a lot of people. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great show for the community. And if, leagues and things like that are something that you're interested in, there's plenty of them out here. Area 51, Votive, Horizon, others. You're going to have a great time getting better, faster. It may be tougher than what you're used to because there's a lot of good drivers. But if you want to get better, faster, consider maybe joining some leagues and no matter what, consider watching on P1 Broadcasting. And if I have any friends and family that are going to watch this later or something like that, then I hope you guys enjoy watching me get third. Win maybe coming in the future. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Mace. That is Mason Mitchum. He's going to run in the third spot tonight. For your second place finisher, we are going to find Mr. Ryan Kelly. Ryan, you've got Murph and you've got Andrew Wood in the P1 broadcasting booth. Have you got us?
I got you.
I tell you what, my man, you were one of the comers at the end. Did you? You got past Mason Mitchum, Yingling. You managed to maneuver around Wagner and Stouffer when they ran short of fuel. Did you think you had anything for Clindy there? You were certainly coming.
Yeah, I wish I had a little more time to find out. Maybe another pit stop to see what would happen there. But I was definitely trying. I was pushing all I could. I was playing with the weight jacker there at the end and just trying to hit hot laps. And really happy with P2 though. Spun entering pit road there on the last pit stop, and happy I didn't lose more time than I did there.
Yeah, so let's talk about the racing stages here, right? So the first part of the race looked like you were quite racy, but then you were dropping back a bit, maybe got shoved out of line and everything like that. And then towards the end of the race, you were flying, basically. It really did seem to go your way there. Did you learn something at the beginning of the race that you implemented later on, or were you just kind of caught out a little bit in a few of those battles where you were dropping spots and it worked out for you a little better towards the end of the race?
Yeah, I think I was just caught out there in the beginning. I was definitely playing with the weight jacker a lot. I haven't driven this car too much. I'm more driving the stock car stuff. So I think with this new update and the car's being a little heavier, it would help me with driving the stock car stuff. And definitely figuring out the weight jacker and brake bias and all that during the race helped. And just learned how to save the tires and started making my way forward.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, Ryan, thank you so much for dropping in and stopping by. We have a little bit of a tradition here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. If you make the podium, you get in the interview room, you get the mic. But before you do that, I wouldn't be doing my job, and I wouldn't be satisfying my good friend Andrew Wood's curiosity if I didn't ask about your livery. I likened it to a carbon fiber zebra earlier. So talk to us about your car a minute before you get to the shout outs.
Yeah, I didn't have any sponsors for the season, so I just figured we'd get something painted up cool here. Some of my teammates gave me a little bit of grief for it, but I think it looks pretty cool. So hopefully everyone enjoys it and
squash the haters, Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. Put them on the podium a little bit more this season, and yeah.
I tell you what, I remember Darrell Waltrip many years ago said, "Hey, if I don't," he said he never understood the point of cars that were sponsorless and refrigerator white. He said, to something effective, if he didn't have any sponsors, he'd have chrome and flames and all sorts of different eye-catching stuff on that baby to make it look good. So it's a good-looking hot rod.
Oh, yeah.
And we appreciate you. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, my family watching tonight. Always appreciate them watching. My teammates couldn't have done this without them. And all the guys putting on the league, all the drivers. Should be a good season here. Looking forward to the rest of it.
Are you going to auction off the piece of that front wing that you lost on the pit entry there on that nice-looking car? I have to ask that question.
Highest bidder.
I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead. We didn't catch what you said. Andrew wants to know if you're going to auction off the front wing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, whoever wants it, highest bidder.
I think what you should do is we should put your front wing on Andrew's station wagon. It'd be perfect.
It'd make it turn a lot better.
No.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for stopping in. We appreciate you, my man. Keep going fast, having fun, and we'll see you at the next one, all right?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. That is Ryan Kelly. And for tonight's winner, on debut, it is a man that we know very well here at P1. It's Clindy, Kyle Clinworth. Clindy, you've got Murph. You've got Andrew Wood in the P1 broadcasting booth. We got to ask. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask. What happened with that spin into the pit lane? And did you think two? Well, first of all, what happened? Two, did you think it was over? And three, did you take your fast repair?
So in reverse order, yes, I took my fast repair. No, I knew it wasn't over because I didn't get a black flag because I didn't speed. And one, I think I just carried 2 or 3 mile an hour too quick through that last bend. And when I hit the brakes, the hybrid weight shifted because it had filled up all the way because I took it a little differently than I had in the past. So when the hybrid is full on battery, it changes how the car handles under braking and how it handles when you're off the throttle entirely. And it kicked the rear, and so like I just tried to lock the fronts to have a stable trajectory, so I knew where I was going to hit, so I could hit it nose cone first, and that's what I did. I just needed to make it past pit entry, and I did. I just hate that Ryan was right behind me when it happened because he spun too. He said that he was going to spin whether I was there or not, but I don't feel good about it. But put us on even footing and let Mason have a little fun. So and then the last part was what happened. So yeah, I'm bad, right? So I practiced a couple times in practice and thought it was fine, but I only did one with my tires totally cooked, right? I should have done more than one attempt with my tires cooked. I should have just not changed my tires, limped the car around, and done 3 or 4 different attempts because at the end of the race when we see the guy behind you at 2.6 seconds or whatever and he's not moving, like you're like, oh, this is close, like I can't afford to mess this up. I think I just pushed it 3 mile an hour too much. So yeah, that's what happened. I thought my day was over, or I did not think my day was over when I didn't see the black flag, and yes, I used my fast repair.
We are all guilty of that. Even iRacing stalwarts like Andrew Wood. Speaking of Mr. Andrew Wood, what do you have for Clindy this evening?
Oh, you're gonna love this. So I'm gonna give a little bit of a Murphy's Law, not Mark Murphy's Law, but Murphy's Law. Anything bad that will happen. And I'm reading this note here. Clendy, 8:37 p.m. I would highly recommend everyone check the brake bias and make sure it works for them.
Yeah,
so
I had it.
Being said,
I had it where I wanted it. That's why I was able to lock the fronts up. The hybrid battery got full too quickly and snapped the rear on me. So that's like my emergency button, is to have the brakes as far forward as I can tolerate and then try to lock the front to stabilize. I just was a little late, and then I clipped those sausage curbs and around we went.
So I do have an actual question though. So following up to not saying that it's over yet, did you think that Wagner was going to need to pit again and thus just hand you the lead just for the fact that he had to pit again? Or did you think that you had to actually chase him down? Because we were talking about the pit strategy and the amount of laps that you can do on the fuel tank, which it seems like we got wrong. But did you actually know that Wagner was going to need to pit again, or did you think he was going to go to the end of the race and hand you the spot?
Great questions. We do not have a full fuel cell. We only had like 13 and a half gallons, not the 18 and a half you would normally get. So that's probably why your calculation was a little off. Plus, there's a lot of off throttle time today. So if you were just calculating that full rip with a cool track, like we would go a little longer than that even. I knew Wagner wasn't going to make it unless he was really, really saving, and he seemed like he wasn't. So he either knew something I didn't or wasn't going to make it. I thought Stouffer might have made it because he was like hanging out behind Wagner and seemed like he could have been in map 3 or map 5, but it looks like he didn't make it either. So unfortunate they didn't get the yellow they were banking on, but when that last yellow came out with about 80 to go, I was like, yep, this is splits the race, right? Like, I know we pit 7 laps ago or whatever, but I don't want to have to save those 7 laps because it was really, honestly, very hard to save much more fuel than what you do full out, because you'd either get blown by with a really slow pace and you don't get the draft, right? And the draft helps you save so much.
Well, I tell you what, whatever you did tonight, Clindy, it was doggone fast. You overcame the pit road contretemps, as Keith Jackson would say it, and you emerged victorious as you do so often. You know the drill from here. Friends, family, sponsor, shoutouts. The floor is yours, Mr. Clinworth. Have at it.
Yeah, first and foremost, thanks to my mom and my cousin Craig, who were watching back in Illinois. I disappointed them earlier at Atlanta. had a bit of a skill issue off of turn 2, just didn't quite have the line right and threw away another surefire win. But, that's what next week's for, and it lets me run that track all week to gain iRating or get back what I lost tonight anyway. Thanks to the fine folks at P1 Broadcasting who put this on. So Murph, Andrew, thank you so much. Thanks to all my rogue racing partners, the Alliance, everything we've been doing. It's really been clicking on all the cylinders right now. And thanks to Advanced GG, who sells energy supplements for water drinks. They have protein and caffeinated products. You can go to advanced.gg and use my checkout code CLENDYSENDY with a capital K and a capital S to get 10% off your order, and I get a little bit of that back. So I like their strawberry kiwi caffeine drink, and they have a Baja Blast flavor that I think they call Tropical Rush. It's very, very good. It was limited edition, but I drink that quite often as well. So I think that's it.
Very good. Well, Clindy, thank you so much for stopping in. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
I will, Murph. Thanks.
Yes, sir. That is Kyle Clenworth, and I gotta tell you, Andrew Wood, for a season opener, some new faces. That was a doggone exciting race.
And I expected nothing less, Murphy. The first race of any season is always exciting, no matter what happens, even with action, with new names, with storylines, with a whole bunch of different stuff. And the first race could be like that, but every race could be like that. And Area 51 puts on great races. I've called, I think this is my 5th season doing commentary now, and I'm just impressed more and more by what I see from these drivers each and every week. And I think that us on P1 Broadcasting, we're going to put on quite a show here, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season here.
I am likewise looking forward to my first season in the booth here in Area 51, and the fun does not stop on Tuesday nights with P1. Tomorrow night, we're going to have the Horizon IndyCar Series opener. That's going to be myself and Ryan Eric King live at 8 o'clock, and then at 8:20, it's Season 8, Round 11 of the Formula Indy Series. Gary Godso will be going at 8:20 p.m. They're going to be at Indianapolis, and I believe that is an oval round for them, Andrew. You can't beat a road course series when they have an oval race. That's always a ton of fun. LGN is going to have the Elite Racing League Indy Lights Series races 7, 8, and 9. That's going to be live from Pocono, Iowa, and Gateway. 7:45 Eastern Time on Thursday. We're going to have Friday and Saturday off. And I got to tell you, it's a big one. Sunday night, the Votive Indy Oval Series, Indy Derby 4, coming at you from the Kentucky Speedway. That is going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern. See Aaron Wood and myself race. And in my case, see how far I can fly. On Monday night, it's the Indy Open Monday Night Top Split. That's going to be from Mexico City, immediately followed by the Indy Next Road Series, live from Watkins Glen. Next Tuesday, bring it right back here for a triple header. It's the bring it right back here for a triple header. It's the IndyCar Oval Series Top Split from Iowa at 7:15. In the middle, it's the Indy Next Oval Series Top Split live from Iowa. And the finale is the Area 51 IndyCar Series Round 2 from Phoenix at 9:30 Eastern. We do appreciate everybody for tuning us in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you too can know when P1 goes live. We want to thank the fans in the stands. You guys are tremendous. We want to thank all of the drivers, the competitors. We want to thank Jim Herrick at 40 Racewear for his sponsorship. And we also want to thank the people that really make it possible. The military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and the nurse that unloads you when you get there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you all. Have a great night, everybody.